Hi, I'm Patty Dunn, and welcome to Monday Fun Day. Guess what we're going to do today? We are going to make tassels from yarns and ribbons, threads, whatever. So let's get started. Let's go down to the table. Gotta turn my camera a little better. And we're going to show you some things about making tassels that you might like to know. First of all, you can use any kind of yarn. So this one was just a yarn, of course. And you can see it's just a plain yarn it's a variegated yarn, so it's just been looped and tied. And then I even used thread, and this is the thin, I'm talking about regular thin thread that is for the top of the sewing machine, and this little tassel was made from that. And here's another one. I made two at the same time, so there's two of those. And then I also made tassels on the edge of this table runner, and this thread is the Razzle, and also, let's see, Razzle or Dazzle by Superior. It's Razzle by Superior, and then there's a Dazzle by Wonder Thread. There's a lot of threads out there, and this one was also made from that. And as you can see, I added a bead. We're going to do that today too. And this one was done with tape. And this is actually a Superior product also, and it looks like this. It's a beautiful rayon soft ribbon tape. They call it braid. They actually call it quilt highlights. Rayon and metallic braid. It comes in metallics. It comes in just soft thread, flat colors. But it's rayon, so it's shiny. And you could also take this thread and you can pull. Let me see if I can do this. You can pull a thread right here and you can draw it up into some embellishments. So we may do that on some Monday Fun Day, depending on what we want to do next time. So those were all done with this little tool right here. This is a clover tassel maker. You can make them, you can adjust the little screws so that it goes up and down, and you can make longer ones, wider ones, taller ones, shorter ones, and they have two sizes that you can purchase. The neat thing about this tool is that it has these little knobs, and so it helps you actually to hold the tassel thread as you're going to start. So I always put it at the lower one, and then I start wrapping. And I like to wrap where I turn the tool instead of, if I wrap and I come around like this, I start twisting the thread. So if you hold the thread still, move the tool, you're going to end up having an easier time with the thread not getting quite so twisted, but it still has a chance to twist. It's not not completely twisted, but so what you do is you just start wrapping. I know it's going to start going its own way, and you continue to wrap until you get the size that you would like. Now, this is gonna be, you could make this half of the size of this tool, or you can make it the long length. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to wrap it just a couple more times here just to do this. And you should, depending on how big you make your tassels, you should be able to get maybe 4 tassels out of one of these spools, but I couldn't guarantee that because I don't know what size you are doing and I don't know how thick you're doing it. But 40 times, 40, 50 times around is a pretty good little thick tassel. Okay, so now I'm at the bottom of this. I'm gonna stop now, and I'm gonna take my thread and I'm gonna wind it over here on this side now, just to keep it from running away from me. Okay, and now I'm gonna get myself a piece of thread about long enough to go over the top and hang it, plus tie it up. And I'm going to make this one half the size of this hoop. I could come in here and just keep it this long, because you can see that this tassel right here, I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. This tassel right here was the length of this tool. So these were actually half the length. So I'm going to make one this size so you can see. So that means it's going to be doubly thick. So that's another thing that you need to kind of pay attention to. That it's also going to be doubly fat. And so I'm just going to hold this, and I'm going to bring the thread around, and I'm going to, okay, this little guy got loose from his place, but that's all right. He's short anyway. So I'm gonna tie one knot, and this needs to be in the center, but I can move it down once I get it started. Okay, I'm gonna tie one knot. Let's see if I can get you in closer here. All right, so I've tied the one-way knot, just not a whole knot, just looped it. And then I'm going to come around again, bringing this underneath and this to the top. Because I want a double twist on this. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this up like this. I'm going to even my tops so that it's the same length, and I'm going to tie a knot. Now I'm going to start this knot, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm in the center. So I'm going to come down now. I'm going to move it down before I get a real nice snug knot in there. I'm going to pull that down, and I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to tie the rest of the knot. Okay, so this is the top of your little tassel, and this is what you're going to hang it with or sew it into if you're going to sew it to the corner of a table runner like this one. You see how the little threads are inside? That goes actually inside your seam if you're going to do that. Okay, now I'm just going to cut this even right here so that that one is the same length, and then I'm going to hang on to this, and I'm going to hold it in the center, cut and cut. Okay, yay! So now I have, and this one right here was the one that was kind of small, short. Didn't want to cooperate and stay on the knob. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is make my head for the tassel. And now I'm not quite even, so I'm gonna try to scoot this over just a little bit. I'm just trying to stay in camera here. And so I'm gonna pull this just a little bit more centered, and there we go. It looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm gonna make the head, but I also have an idea of something else I want to try. So now I need a piece, again, a piece of thread. Move back here so you can see. So I need another piece of thread here. We're going to move this out of the way so we don't have to worry about that. And now, this was a YouTube video I watched that I was so impressed with. You take the tail, you leave the tail up just a little bit, and then you loop. And you hold your thumb on the loop. Hopefully I can do this as well as she did. It was ingenious. Okay, now I'm going to start wrapping. And I want to wrap about a quarter or half inch down below my top of the head. And I'm just going to start wrapping. And as I start wrapping, I'm wrapping over the loop. Do you see the loop is there, right there? And I don't want to hide the loop completely. Uh-oh, I just pulled the loop. Okay, wait a minute. I started worrying about the fact that I don't have my my top thread out, and that is very important to keep that top thread from getting into the whole tassel. Okay, so we're going to start again. There's my loop, there's my tail. I'm going to start wrapping. I'm going to wrap, wrap, wrap as many times as you want to wrap. Okay, and keep your loop so that you don't lose your loop or the tail, either one. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take the end here, maybe go 2 more times here just to use up the thread, and I'm going to wrap this or thread this into the loop. So that's my thread right there. And now I'm going to pull, hold on to the thread and pull that loop up with the tail that was left. Isn't that cool? There is a lady out there that is doing a video on this, and she does an awesome job. And that is the coolest way I've ever seen anybody wrap. Now, there's your tassel. All you have to do is make sure that you have the bottoms even, and you can take a piece of tape to the bottom and cut it off, and you would have that straight. I'm going to do that later, but now I want to give you some other ideas. I went to the hobby store and I found these large eyed beads. These have got I don't know even what they're for, but I decided I was going to try these and see if they'll work. So I'm going to weave this in. I'm going to take some of that length off of there because that doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to take that And I'm going to come down and I'm going to basically force this bead to go down over the head. So I'm pulling the bead and I'm pulling the thread. And as it goes down, it kind of squishes the thread in. And this is a fairly good size tassel. So now I would not have had to wrap all that. That wasn't really necessary. If I wanted to do this, the bead could be the thing that holds it. I just wanted you to see how cool that was to use that bead, and probably instead of wrapping. So I may pull that wrapping off. So here's it is as the bead. Now this one I threaded threaded 3 beads. Whoops. I threaded 3 beads onto this one. So that's exactly how I did it. And then I got to thinking how pretty some of these little these little pieces are that you can get at the hobby store. Now this tassel actually needs to be a little bit fatter for this, but and I don't have one that isn't the right size. But you just basically will take this up through the hole that's in the bead, and you've got a little hole, and you just pull that up and you set it down. And here's one I did with cord, and it has that little finial, whatever it's called, at the top. And I think it looks pretty darn cool, actually. So this is a fun project, a fun thing to do, and it's easy, and you now are seeing all kinds of jewelry and tassels. Tassels are used for all kinds of things. And I would, if I were putting this as a tie around, I would put a little glue on that just to hold it in one spot so that it doesn't run away. And that's basically it. And I would probably just yank this part off that I just did, and just keep this just with this bead in the and not have that wrapped part. But that's all right. We'll get that off. But see how well that tie happens to work. I pulled it up through that loop, and it isn't coming loose. It's not coming loose. So this is a good thing, which you want. You definitely want things to stay where they're supposed to. So I'm going to pull this completely off of there so you can see. There. And now I have my bead, and I could put another 1 or 2 or 3 or do the same thing I did with the other one, and basically just straighten off the bottom, and you're good to go. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed Monday Fun Day, and I hope you'll join me next week. I believe that we will do some batik with glue. Let's try that next week. Thanks for watching.